Well, for more on the improving ties between Somalia and Ethiopia and to know what to expect in the coming weeks, we earlier spoke to our correspondent, Gurun Chala, in Addis Ababa. Let's take a listen.
The Turkey negotiation between the two countries, the agreement signed between Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his Somali counterpart, resulted in normalization of relationships. Somalia last week has sent its State Minister of Foreign Affairs to Addis Ababa, and now Ethiopia has also sent its Minister of Defense and State Minister of Foreign Affairs to Mogadishu to speak to their counterparts. The discussion, as you have said, also was fruitful. Ethiopia wants to contribute in the peacekeeping efforts as usual in Somalia, also keeping Al-Shabaab and other terrorist groups at bay. And the two countries also have agreed to continue collaborating in many aspects, including the economic sector itself. Somalia also promised that it would be sending its higher-level officials to this part of the continent, and the relationship between the two countries is expected to further normalize as now things are going to the right direction. But the most important thing that we can talk about is about Ethiopia's participation in the AUSOM, the new peacekeeping mission in Somalia under the African Union. So after the Somaliland agreement with Ethiopia of sea access to one of perhaps the countries with a lot of population but landlocked, is something that has created this tension between Somalia and Ethiopia. And the Turkey agreement, of course, is something that has paved the way for the two nations to sit down and start conversations. And now the result is expected to, as I said earlier, to be strengthened in the economic sector, because Ethiopia still maintains, Hannah, the fact that it really wants sea access. A population of more than 120 million people still need sea access, not rented somewhere or something like that. So the economic situation of the country itself, as one of the fastest growing economies in Africa, requires safe and accessible port in the Eastern Africa region. So that relationship, I mean, the normalized relationship between Somalia and Ethiopia, is expected to result in achieving Ethiopia's dreams of accessing the Red Sea itself. In other aspects, the peace and security, as I said earlier, is also important, as Al-Shabaab, according to the two countries, remains to be a threat for the peace and security of Ethiopia and Somalia, and entirely for the Eastern Africa region. So this normalized relationships between Somalia and Ethiopia, according to experts, is a step to the right direction, and many more positive outcomes are also expected in the coming weeks or months.